bringing paradise to the Poconos, a historic train back on the tracks, and some insider tips for planning your summer getaway.
We're going to hit the links in the Poconos. We're also going to talk water safety with the experts and meet a mother-daughter gardening duo at this resort. Plus, picking up the Poconos. Welcome everyone to this May edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Hamill.
And I'm Brianna Strunk. It is growing season here in the Pocono Mountains, but did you know here at Pocono Organics, fruits, vegetables are harvested all year long?
Absolutely they are, and in true farm-to-table fashion.
And here at the Market Cafe, you can get farm fresh foods, ingredients, you name it, made right here on this property in the Poconos.
Yeah, this is a destination in its own right, Brianna. We have plenty to get to on the show. We've got water safety, golf, jazz, and midweek stays, just to name a few.
Yes, but first, here's what's been making headlines in the Poconos. The Smithfield Gateway project along routes 209 and 447 in Monroe County moved forward with a groundbreaking for one of its main tenants, St. Luke's University Health Network. The 120-acre mixed-use development will include commercial and retail space plus 500 residential units. The project also brings $14 million worth of road improvements and lane expansions.
Black and Brass Coffee Roasting Company was featured in Home and Backyard on WNEP TV, serving up the perfect cold brew latte and cappuccino.
Here at the Black and Brass Coffee Roasting Company in Honesdale, you can enjoy a beautiful view and a delicious cup of freshly roasted, freshly brewed coffee.
Black and Brass will now have 5 locations in the Poconos.
I'm very excited about this fried mozzarella. Oh my God, that is delicious. I could honestly probably eat this for every meal.
The NBC 10 Philadelphia crew came hungry and left full after this foodies segment featuring several spots in the Poconos, from bar bites to fine dining and everything in between.
The Times-Tribune in Scranton featured Wallenpaupack Brewing Company twice. First, for being named Pennsylvania Brewery of the Year for the 3rd consecutive year in the New York International Beer Competition. We visited the brewery last month on Pocono Mountains Magazine and featured its brewers Logan and John, who then collaborated with another brewery on a beer to raise money for Mark Krauthamel of Pocono Axe Works, who's battling cancer. The hazy IPA called On the Mark has helped in the community effort to raise thousands for Mark's medical expenses, and everyone at PTN wishes Mark and his family the very best.
Kalahari Resorts and Conventions, America's largest indoor water park resort, has a location right here in the Poconos. Right next door is Pocono Manor. The historic resort and residential community unfortunately made national headlines in 2019 after a devastating fire destroyed the main inn. But now the property is making its comeback in a massive way. Parrot heads, get ready to take flight to the Poconos. Margaritaville, the global lifestyle brand inspired by Jimmy Buffett, is coming to town.
It's a bonanza for this area.
The first of its kind, Margaritaville Resort Village includes a hotel with wilderness gardens, swimming pools, live entertainment, and the brand famous Land Shark Bar and Grill. The hotel design pays homage to the original inn at Pocono Manor, built in 1902. This is all that currently remains after that devastating fire 3 years ago.
It really updates what the guests' needs and wants are, and it gives a little bit of the nostalgia of what Pocono Manor used to be.
Luxury camping at its best, Camp Margaritaville RV Resort will be packed with amenities, such as a Cheeseburger in Paradise restaurant, 5 o'clock somewhere swim-up bar, and Barkaritaville Dog Park. In the winter, Margaritaville is reimagined with snow tubing and ice skating, plus an ice bar and cozy winter market.
The confidence that they have with locating here and investing $1.3 billion in the Pocono Mountains shows that they feel that it's a very viable destination that's positioned very positively for growth.
Tiny home bungalows, inspired by rustic cabins in the Poconos, promise to provide the ultimate mountain living vibe. Guests seeking a forever vacation might opt for one of these townhomes or a build-for-rent cottage.
It's a way to bring in a lot of money from metropolitan New York City into our area, and that translates into jobs, and better paying jobs.
Developers have even offered to donate land for a dedicated train station on site, making Margaritaville and the Pocono Mountains accessible to all.
This is one of the first major private sector organizations to really get involved with us. And it shows the economic benefit that's going to spring from the Amtrak rail corridor.
That corridor would connect New York City and Scranton, with stops in the Poconos. The long-discussed dream to restore passenger rail service to the region is now closer to reality than ever before, thanks to major federal funding recently secured for Amtrak.
So the most asked question is, what makes this time different? And of course, the answer is $66 billion. The money's never been there.
Whether arriving by car or train, get ready to settle into paradise. Pocono Paradise. Construction for Margaritaville is expected to start next year with an opening date of mid-2024. For the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
Coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we're going to hit the links as golf courses open for the season. Which holes are some of the signature ones? And pretty difficult, too, across the Pocono Mountains. Find out coming up.
Now's the time to plan your summer getaway to the Poconos. Coming up, a few insider tips on how to make the most of your trip.
In the Pocono Mountains, there's always a new season just around the corner.
And no matter what the season, there's always something exciting happening. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. The four-season Pocono Mountains. Visit us at PoconoMountains.com.
Summer's almost here and reservations are filling up fast, so now is the perfect time to plan your getaway to the Pocono Mountains. Need a reminder why to visit? And a little insider tip, there's a certain time to visit that comes with some major perks, like, and overall, you hear that? It's the peaceful sound of nothing. And that's exactly what you'll get with a midweek stay at Mountain Springs Lake Resort.
So when you come up to visit, it feels like it's your own private preserve.
With 40 rental units to suit any style, go vintage in an original log cabin from the 50s and 60s, take it up a notch with the modern rustic vibe, or go over the top in a high-end luxury suite.
So we have about 320 acres here. We have a 76-acre lake on the property, which is about a mile long. It's all private.
Speaking of private, although the Poconos is ready to welcome you anytime, weekends and holidays can get busy. So, if you're looking for your own slice of Pocono paradise and want the region's attractions all to yourself, consider visiting Monday through Thursday.
And I would also think about not just coming here during what I call the high season. So you've got winter sports and you've got summer. I think some of the most beautiful months in the Poconos are those off months. So whether you think about September, October, foliage, you name it, September feels like summer, except there are fewer people here.
Here at Mountain Springs Lake Resort, each rental unit comes with its very own rowboat and dock. There's even a nature trail just for guests. And would you believe this quiet oasis is close to all the area's action?
When you think about Pocono Raceway is about a 15-minute drive. Camelback ski area is less than 10 minutes. Mount Airy Casino is 10 minutes away. The Crossing Shopping Outlet Mall is literally 6 minutes. I've timed it a bunch of times. It's so close.
So we have the 2 queen beds, also a queen sleeper sofa.
In another part of the Poconos, East Shore Lodging and its 12 individually unique hotel units is a stone's throw from Lake Wallenpaupack.
When you first come in, you see the big sign, welcome to Lake Wallenpaupack, and then we're the first business. So we're kind of centrally located in between town, the town of Hawley, which is a walkable town, but also the lake, where all the activity happens in the summertime. It's super crowded, lots of people here, lots of activities to do on the lake.
Get in on the action and rent a pontoon boat, kayak, or stand-up paddleboard from East Shore Lodging. Also on site, the area's only narrated historic boat tour.
It's very convenient. We have a restaurant right next door to us, so it's walkable if you're staying here as a hotel guest. You don't have to get back in your car, that type of stuff. There's several other restaurants which are within 2 miles.
When planning your Pocono getaway, keep an eye out for midweek deals and packages. Like this one from East Shore Lodging, which combines a 2-night stay and boat rental.
Midweeks in the summertime are very manageable. The lake is less busy, there's less traffic, but everything is still open. Restaurants, activities are still going 7 days a week.
So there's just one question. Would you rather sip your morning cup of coffee from this lake view or this one?
It's quiet. Enjoy yourself up here. Take a breath.
Planning your trip to the Poconos is easy on the newly redesigned and mobile-friendly PoconoMountains.com. Just find special offers and check off midweek specials. And while you're there, check out our brand new blog giving you insider tips all about midweek stays. For the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
Hey, it's Jim Hamill, and springtime is here, and so is golf season. And so here on Pocono Mountains Magazine over the next couple months, we wanted to give you an idea of some of the amazing golf holes at all the different courses throughout the Poconos, including here at Woodloch Springs. So let me get my clubs out here. And my man Kern is gonna come give me a little hand here. Kern, how are you today?
Doing great, welcome to Woodloch.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Let's go play the gorge hole here, number 14, a classic one. We'll see you down at the cart. Hell's Gate Gorge. This is a par 5. How many yards is this, John?
So from the gold tees, it's 577 yards. And what you're going to find is you've got a 220-yard carry from the gold tees to get over what we call Hell's Gates Gorge.
It's a dog leg, then a dog leg.
It's a double dog leg, yes.
Fun stuff. You
Your
first?
honor. Nope.
Oh, my honor.
You're my guest.
Thank you, John. I couldn't have done it any better, but John, you'll show me up, I'm sure.
I got you by a little bit, but I'm going to need it. It's a little 5-iron layup. That should be perfect.
Money! There it is. Fiver. All right, so we've played number 14 at Woodloch Springs. Director of Golf at Woodloch, John Pillar, thank you so much for having us.
Thank
you.
you.
Have a heck of a course here, and the staff is impeccable as well.
Well, we take great pride in not only our staff, but obviously all of our facilities here. The golf course is coming out of the winter, and it's in really good shape, as you saw. And you know, we're proud of the golf experience we can provide to not only our members and guests in the area, but obviously the local community and our resort guests. So.
And when we can have 2 pars on that hole.
I know.
That's a pretty good deal.
You get a handicap 5 for 4. You win.
True. I do
I'll
win.
never admit that, but that's a great shot.
John Pillar, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, bud. All right, for our second hole on this Pocono Signature Golf Hole Series, we're hitting up the historic Pocono Manor and its iconic par 3, number 7. And we've got with us today golf pro here for many moons, Mr. Greg Wall. Greg Wall's joining us here, and you've been here for many years, Greg. Tell us a little bit about this special par 3 that is challenging in its own right, even though it's so short.
Yeah, Jim, well, this is kind of our signature hole here. It's 77 yards on the scorecard, and it plays about half of that. We've got water to the left, to the front, to the right, and we got some trees over the green. So even though you stand here and think I could throw it on, and maybe sometimes people might be better off throwing it on than trying to hit it on, but it's a real fun hole. Everybody really enjoys it, and it's really part of the real fun experience here at Pocono Manor.
That's pretty nice, Greg.
I'll take it.
If I could replicate that,
there you go.
Boy, the pros know how to do it, don't they, folks? They really do.
Got it pretty close, and I'm going to give myself that one. I got myself a par, which I think we're always happy to get 3 on this hole. Jim, let's see if you can knock that bomb in for your par. It might come back down. Well, the next one's good, Jim, so give it a go. There you go.
I know, thank you. All right, Greg, number 7, a par 3. You wouldn't think it's that much of a challenge, but it's a very tricky one, and I don't think I succeeded all that well, but definitely had fun.
Well, that's what the game's about, number one.
Right.
Just having fun. Everybody that plays that hole, whether they do good, bad, or in between, they enjoy it. It's fun. And, you know, seriously, don't feel too bad, because back in the 60s, Dad had Arnold Palmer here in an exhibition.
Right.
And Arnold happened to hit his ball in the water, and I think he tied you, or maybe you tied him. So you never know what's going to happen on that hole, but as you said, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us here at the historic Pocono Manor. Where can they find you? What's your website?
Well, golfpoconomanor.com,
Okay.
570-839-1389. We're a public course right now. We have twilight rates, we have senior rates,
Nice.
and we would love to have everybody come enjoy a great day here at Pocono Manor.
Thanks for having us here, Greg.
My pleasure.
Greg Wall, golf
My
pro
pleasure.
at Pocono Manor, and we'll send it back to the show. Thanks for watching.
For the first time in more than 30 years, this one-of-a-kind steam locomotive is getting ready to hit the tracks again. Plus, we're visiting a historic jazz club in the Poconos. But this isn't just any jazz venue.
From birds to birdies, nature and golf go hand in hand in the Pocono Mountains. Tee off across the region and save by purchasing a Golf Around card and play twice at participating courses for just $30 per round, card included. Find out more information at PoconoMountains.com.
Hi. Where else can you find funk, Broadway, soul, folk, and many more fresh musical discoveries, as well as storytelling evenings featuring top talent? Well, it's at Harmony in the Woods in Hawley, Pennsylvania. Harmony in the Woods, where performance is in our nature.
After more than 30 years, this one-of-a-kind steam locomotive is getting ready to hit the tracks once again. There are 4 excursions coming up that you won't want to miss. But first, let's get this story on track by starting from the beginning. In 1945, as World War II came to a close, this steam locomotive was born in Reading, Pennsylvania.
During the wartime efforts, rail was huge. And that's why the railroads needed these big locomotives like this to be able to haul all of the excess freight, equipment, and stuff that was being used for the war effort and just the booming economic era of our country.
Iron Horse Rambles, as she was called, had a busy career hauling heavy coal trains. then eventually transitioned into passenger excursions. In the late 80s, the steam locomotive was purchased by Reading and Northern Railroad, Pennsylvania's largest privately owned railroad, which runs through the Poconos.
We're primarily a freight railroad, so we don't operate a ton of passenger, but there's trains operating every day.
Iron Horse Rambles fell out of service in 1991 and has been sitting in storage ever since. But now, after a $2.4 million full restoration, she's getting ready to come roaring back to life.
There's 4 of these locomotives left in existence, and ours is the only currently operating one.
4 all-day public excursions are being offered between Reading and Jim Thorpe in May, July, August, and September. Riders can select from 5 different classes of seating. The trip includes a 3.5-hour layover in Jim Thorpe, one of the Poconos' must-visit small towns, nicknamed America's Little Switzerland. With these excursions catching international attention, spots are filling up fast.
This has been really popular with rail fans. They've been following the restoration very closely. As soon as tickets went on sale, they gobbled them up.
Just to put this into perspective for you, I'm about 5'3", and the wheels are taller than me. This entire locomotive weighs more than 404 tons. Compare that to about 81 elephants. Rebuilding a historic train of this size from bare boiler took 6 years. And since a train from 1945 doesn't come with a manual, crews had to track down reference pictures and make custom parts.
It's a lot of work, and then it's like a big puzzle putting it back together.
But they move full steam ahead, knowing what's to come.
It's very rewarding, you know, to see the people happy, see kids, because, you know, a little bit ago I was that little kid watching it go by.
And these excursions are just the beginning. Iron Horse Rambles will serve the public again for October fall foliage rides. Back on the rails, where she's meant to be. For the Pocono Television Network, I'm Brianna Strunk.
We're here in one of my favorite places in the Poconos, the Deerhead Inn, a place where well-renowned musicians would come and play after their gigs in the resorts.
The music has been going on continuously here for over 70 years with such greats as Phil Woods, Irby Green, Keith Jarrett played here. One of my favorite pianists who just won a Grammy recently with Tony Bennett, Bill Charlap, loves playing here. We have the legendary drummer Bill Goodwin, who is living right upstairs.
Danny and his partners got inspired and decided to buy the club years ago when they were hiking and they were on the top of the gap looking down at the beautiful landscape.
When you're listening to music, you have to really listen and you feel. And when you play it, you want to make other people feel something.
Well, my dad's a musician, and I've always lived in the area, so I think the Deerhead has definitely been influential for that, just being around all these musicians and always hearing music.
The first visit to the Deerhead was in 1969 in the summer, and then I came back to live here in 1970. It's because of one of my colleagues, his name is Bob DeRoe, who is the creator of Schoolhouse Rock, among other things. I came to visit him and in a way, never left. Jazz is a social thing, a real social music for people getting together and having a good time. And that's the way it was when I started going out to hear music and going out to play. Everybody was having a great time. And I said, yeah, I like this. So that was it.
And that's what it is for visitors and locals.
I'm from New York, and every time that I have the opportunity to have a good time I think about this place.
I started coming here considerably underage as a member of a band. It was the only way I could get in to hear John Coates Jr. This would have been in the late 1970s, and fell in love with jazz, fell in love with the music and the very inviting and welcoming scene here. The rest, as they say, is at least my history of falling in love with music that is, for me, freedom and joy.
I'm a professional musician in this area, and I have my own band called La Cucina. Your experience of coming here and having a great meal, some great drinks, and a karma that's unbelievable.
So I told a friendly star.
They come here, they listen to music, they have a great meal, and all they have to do is walk upstairs to some beautiful rooms. We came up with 10 rooms, 8 singles, and 2 suites, which we're very proud of, because we did all the work ourselves.
And there's more than jazz to it.
You can leave your car right where it is and enjoy the town. And this road right out to the side is part of the Appalachian Trail. You can hike the Appalachian Trail. There's a lot of beautiful things to do here. The home of jazz in the Poconos for over 70 years.
If you're a jazz lover or you want to experience jazz for the first time, this is the place to be. Come and join us at the Deer Head Inn and create lifelong musical memories. Christina Luna for Pocono Television Network.
Hey, it's Jim Hamill here at Lake Wallenpaupack, and coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we're going to talk to some of the experts about why it's so important to wear a life jacket when you're out on the lake or on the river. That's coming up here at the Lake Wallenpaupack Visitor Center. Stick around. Mother and daughter working together to make these gardens grow at an iconic Poconos Resort. Their story is coming up on Pocono Mountains Magazine.
The residents of Monroe County have been overwhelmingly supportive of St. Luke's. Over the past 5+ years, we have just grown beyond our expectations. We want to continue to meet their needs, and so we are now planning to expand and double the size of our campus.
We've learned a lot since we've opened in 2016. We've adapted to a lot of different challenges.
As we start on our expansion, I'm proud to be part of the future vision of this campus.
You know, our guests really love our beverages.
They like to taste the freshness. You know, what's in there?
Like the clean, clear, beautiful waters of the Pocono Mountains.
We aren't afraid to try new things.
And take chances with our ales and spirits.
The best of the Pocono Mountains in a glass. Try us.
And find us at PoconoBeverageTrail.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Pocono Mountains Magazine for the month of May, and this month marks National Safe Boating Week in the lead up to Memorial Day. And so I have a couple guests here and a couple guests off camera right now who will be joining us in just a little bit. We have Susie Casper. You're with the Upper Delaware.
Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River.
See, I wanted you to say it because it's a little bit of a longer title, absolutely. And Nick Spinelli, you're with the Tafton Dive Team, correct?
Correct.
And you know Lake Wallenpaupack, you grew up here. Susie, you're from the area too?
I'm not from the area, but I've been here
You've
for
been here.
quite a while, almost 20 years now.
Okay, so we'll qualify you as a longtime
Thanks.
resident at this point. And we're talking about safe boating and safety on the water because over the time, you know, here in the Poconos, we welcome so many visitors to the area and so many people here recreate on the river, whether it's boating or swimming. But it's important to make sure you're wearing a life jacket because that can save lives. And Nick, why don't we start with you talking about being out here on the lake or other waterways and the importance of safety when you're going out there to have fun?
Yeah, Jim, there are a lot of considerations for any water body, but when you're going out on Lake Wallenpaupack in particular, especially in summer months, it's a really busy place. So you need to be aware. Distracted boating is really not a great idea. So put your phones down. Make sure that you have safety gear with you, a personal flotation device, a PFD or life jacket, as some folks call them. A float plan. Be aware of the weather. A lot of different considerations for keeping yourself safe while you're out there having fun.
And I know that you've responded many times to near drownings or drownings themselves, and the impact that must have on your teams, but let alone the loss of life or the families who are impacted. Can you just share just the gravity of those situations?
Yeah, it's never an easy situation. I mean, obviously for the family, but it's also trying for the rescue teams. You know, it affects all of us. We don't take any of it lightly. You know, so we really try and do our best to be proactive in educating folks about how to be safe while they're out there. It's a tremendous amount of resources that come in for an incident. So we have the Taft and Dive team here on the north end of the lake. Ledgedale Dive team is at the south end of the lake. Any type of incident that's out there, we're also calling in other mutual aid teams from elsewhere in the two-county area.
Yeah, and if not all, at least most of those cases, Susie, even last year, 5 drownings on the upper Delaware, none of them were wearing life jackets.
One actually was wearing a life jacket.
One was.
But the problem with that was it wasn't fastened, it wasn't secured, and when you fall out of your boat, and especially in a very fast-moving water environment, it came right off. And so had that been tightly secured, it would have been a totally different situation.
So it's not just the need to wear it, it's the need to wear it properly.
Absolutely.
What tips would you give to folks to say, like, hey, you need to know these things before we actually have you go out and enjoy the upper Delaware or the lake or anywhere else?
Definitely. I mean, if you're going to have your life jacket on, which is what we want everybody to do, make sure you have it on and have it on securely. You know, we're in a fast-moving water environment. Even though many sections of the river look very calm and placid, there's always a really strong river current. So it's important to have that life jacket on, even if you go in for a swim, because most of our drownings, actually, once we really started looking at our statistics, were swimming related.
Swimming related. What other statistics kind of let people know a little bit more of the backstory of who is falling victim?
So our statistics have shown us that it's young males between the ages of 18 and 34. Most of them know how to swim.
Right.
But it's you know, on the Delaware River, it's much different than being on Lake Wallenpaupack or on the ocean. So there may be a section of the river that looks very calm, but you go in for a swim and all of a sudden you're halfway across the river, you get fatigued, you panic, and things happen very, very quickly. So making sure that even though if it looks calm, just put that life jacket on because it's definitely going to save your life.
Nick, you were in the water literally this past weekend. Very cold, but you had a life jacket, no doubt.
Of course.
And tell me what that's like. What is that like when you have, you know, a tipped over vessel like that and the cold water potentially hits you? Like, having a life jacket is going to make a difference in that situation, no matter the depth of the water and no matter the time of the year.
Right. Cold water drowning is a very real thing, and it's a major issue. Actually, in Pennsylvania now we have regulations on life jacket usage in kayaks and canoes and smaller crafts during the colder weather months. So I happened to dump a canoe on Sunday, and I experienced the involuntary gasp reflex. When you hit cold water, you can't help but inhale. And had I not had a PFD on, I could have gotten lungs full of water, and it could have been a different situation. It's a super, super important thing, not just in those smaller paddle crafts, but also in any boat if you're out on the lake. Or any water body. It's sort of like saying, well, I'll put my seatbelt on right before I get into a car accident. You don't know when that's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know, you need to have that PFD on all the time.
Always be prepared for that. And we are hoping that we can message to people who are out there who might not realize the importance of having a life jacket and having it properly fitted. So we want to share with you right now, before we let Susie and Nick off the hook and bring on our 2 next guests, we want to share with you a PSA that we've developed here to make sure people wear their life jackets when they're on the river, when they're on the lake as well, to help save a life. Thank you both, and we'll take a look at this now. In the 30 seconds
it takes you to click,
zip,
or just fasten your life jacket,
You or someone you love
could be saved from being a drowning victim.
Our rivers and lakes are something special.
So are the lives we will save by wearing it.
Please.
Please
Please.
wear it.
This message is brought to you by
The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission,
Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area,
First responders everywhere.
Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River,
and the Pocono Television Network. Welcome back to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Hamill, and we have changed out our guests here at the Lake Wallenpaupack Visitor Center. We We have Kathleen Sant with the National Park Service down at Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, and Water Conservation Officer Matthew Dietrich. He's about to go out and stock some trout today, so we got to get him out of here pretty quickly. But we do thank you guys for coming, for Susie and Nick as well, for talking about safe water practices, safe boating, wearing life jackets. You're down, Kathleen, at the other end of the Poconos on the Delaware, and it's a little bit of a different river than the upper Delaware, which is, I wouldn't classify it as lazy up there necessarily, but it does have rapids and things like that. You guys have a much broader and a huger, I think, amount of crowds that come down to a lot of your beaches down there. Describe to me what the difference is about the Delaware where you are.
Yeah, so at Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, the Middle Delaware National Scenic and Recreational River flows a little bit slower than it does in the upper Delaware reaches. And so I know Susie mentioned that sometimes the river can look placid and calm while there is a strong current underneath. And in our section of the river, I think there are more sections where it looks very calm. It looks like the river's not moving. It looks like a still body of water. And so that can be misleading because people don't realize that just underneath that surface, there is an extremely strong current. And so last year we had 4.2 million visitors that came to the park.
Oh, is that all?
That's all, yes. So we're the 15th most visited national park unit in the country. The year before we had similar visitation. We were the 10th most visited unit. And so we have a lot of people who are coming to the river, many times for their first time. They're inexperienced boaters. They've never been out on the water before or out on a river before. And so making sure that they have all of that important safety information before they get here and then before they get on the river is really, really important to us.
It sure is. And just not talking rivers, lakes, Matthew, you see like the huge amount of attention here too during the height of the season on Lake Wallenpaupack and other areas as well. And I think the overall goal here is to make sure that no matter where you are on the water, you're thinking safety first, even though you're there to have a great time. So what kind of things would you say the Fish and Boat Commission is trying to do to keep people safe, in addition to life jacket safety and just even alcohol usage?
Right, so we're actually coming up on the busy time of the season, usually around Memorial Day. It's going to start getting busy up until about September. So we have the 3 major holidays in there between Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. So we're out there pretty much every day. We're looking for safety violations. We're looking for rules of the road, basically making traffic stops on the water, making sure people are safe, making sure they have all their safety equipment, making sure they're not under the influence of operating. As you're aware, the boating under the influence laws are the same. They basically mimic the rules of the road and the driving under the influence. Although it's not illegal to possess alcohol on a boat or even consume alcohol while driving, we certainly don't recommend it at all.
Sure.
And the limit is 0.08. So anything over that is an arrestable offense for boating under the influence of alcohol. When you mix that with not having life jackets on, when you mix that with not having enough safety equipment, it certainly presents a dangerous situation.
It sure does, and I know that you guys have been on the front lines of these responses when people have been in drowning situations. The sheer magnitude of what that means for your staff, for the first responders, let alone the victims' families and friends who are now going from a situation that's supposed to be enjoyable to one that is just heartbreaking. Kathleen, what is the human toll?
Well, the human toll is huge, right? So when I go out on the water, I wear my life jacket because it's really important to me that I come home to my family at the end of the day. They depend on me, and they love me. And so when we see people, fathers, sons, brothers, mostly males, who are not coming home at the end of the day, that is tragic. It's tragic for the families, and it's tragic for those of us, not me, but those of us on our rescue crews who do have to recover bodies of drowning victims and have to work with the families to bring closure to those families. It is really important to us that we do everything that we can to prevent those incidents from happening. And then when they do happen, that we do everything in our power to be able to recover those bodies and to be able to bring closure to those families. It is tragic all around, and it impacts everybody.
It sure does. Matthew, I know that people might think life jackets are not cool, but they're certainly cooler than the alternative, right?
The alternative is, possibly not going home at the end of the day. And as Nick pointed on earlier, we do have a law in Pennsylvania. It's called the Cold Weather Wear Law. From November 1st to April 30th, all occupants of canoes, kayaks, and boats less than 16 feet are required to wear life jackets while out on the water. That's going to go away April 30th. But even after that, we certainly encourage everybody to wear life jackets. Of course, they have to have one per person on their boat, and all occupants of personal watercrafts are required to wear them. Not only wear them, but have them buckled, have them fitting neatly, have them fitting properly, and then, just making sure they have them and making sure they have all the rest of their safety equipment.
So anything that you want to leave our viewers with, our listeners with, regarding water safety, life jacket safety, before we hopefully have, the message sink into those who need it?
Yeah, I just really want to comment on something that Susie said earlier that was really important, and that is that it's not just important to wear your life jacket, but to wear it properly and to make sure that it is fitted properly. If it's too big, if it's too small, it's not going to do what it's intended to do. If it's not zipped, if it's not fastened, it's not going to do what it's intended to do. And so for both of our parks, we have never had a drowning where someone was wearing a properly fitted and fastened life jacket. It is the number one thing that people can do to save their lives and to make sure that they go home to their friends and their families at the end of the day.
Let that sink in. No drownings with a properly fitted life jacket. Kathleen, Matthew, to Susie and Nick, thank you so much for joining us here on Pocono Mountains Magazine. A very critical message to get out there this year and any year. We'll be right back.
It just goes to show what can be done if you have the right surgeons and the right doctors.
Because I was concerned with the mass that I saw in her abdomen, I knew she just needed to go to surgery as soon as possible.
The diagnosis was one cancer appendiceal, and whatever need I would have, I knew she was going to address it. That impressed me.
At the Lehigh Valley Topper Cancer Institute, we have a team of experts who are specialty trained in their field.
Best word I can find, phenomenal.
If you like excitement, come try our indoor water cars. Go to PoconoMountains.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Hamill here, and in the Pocono Mountains, May means that flowers are in bloom. And here at Woodloch Pines Resort, this place is immaculate every springtime, and especially because of the mother-daughter gardening team that makes this place look impeccable each and every year. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Anyone who has spent time at Woodloch can attest. This is a place of beauty. And behind all the gardens, perennials, holiday decor, and all, is the gardening mother-daughter duo of Ellen and Dusty.
So many people like, oh, I could never work with my mother.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm fun.
You are.
Ellen Dunn has 20 years as head gardener at the various Woodloch properties. Dusty came on board 16 years ago. And each and every year, through every change of seasons, they're together on the job.
We've been doing this so long together that we just kind of know what needs to be done.
Yep. Hey, hand me a shovel, I said. How's that? That's good, right?
We both have our parts that we do, and we just jump out and we dig in and do it.
On this day, Ellen and Dusty and their coworker Kathy are preparing for the Easter holiday weekend at the resort,
Okay, see you on the next rock.
making the iconic entrance look as welcoming as it does.
Our summer flower order is coming next week, so we need to get the pansies planted.
Whether they're digging in the dirt or hauling heavy planters, Ellen and Dusty have formed a bond deeper than any roots can go. And that's true for the relationship they also have to Woodloch and its guests.
It's a good feeling, and then you have families coming here to enjoy the resort. And, you know, when they find out that we're a mother-daughter team, they just love it, you know, and they're just happy to see that.
For Ellen, being a mom is her biggest accomplishment, she says, and working with flowers also brings her a lot of happiness. Doing both together is a bonus. And soon, Dusty will be able to say the same.
So in the fall, we have a big event happening, and she won't be here for a while.
Oh, right, yeah.
Dusty's gonna have a baby.
This mother-daughter gardening tag team admit it can get testy at times to work with family.
It's good.
We do fight sometimes, and I'll admit I'm the stubborn one, and, you know, I stick to my guns sometimes too much, and then, you know, it might turn into a fight, but I think we're pretty good at, you know, coming back around. And
we do, always.
But when they both look at how fortunate they are to work here at Woodloch together, doing what they love.
I'm grateful that I get to work with my mom every day.
And there she goes.
Yep.
Ellen and Dusty are blessed beyond measure to share time together, creating a beautiful backdrop for Woodloch families and their own family. Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network. Still to come on Pocono Mountains Magazine, we pick up the Poconos to honor Earth Day. See just how many volunteers came out and all of the litter they were able to pick up and the impact they had on our region.
East Stroudsburg University. Dozens of degree opportunities, taught by exceptional faculty. Exciting campus life and the beauty of the Poconos. ESU, where everything you want is closer than you think.
This is my idea of relaxation.
Finally here on Pocono Mountains Magazine, it's Jim Hamill and my family, and we have been out today on the weekend around Earth Day, helping to clean up and pick up the Poconos. So, we wanted to follow some of the volunteers, 500 plus, who went all across the 4 counties of the Pocono Mountains to make this area more clean and green and do their part to leave no trace. Have a look.
I think it's important for other people to see. Like, obviously it's important to pick up the trash, but seeing other people do it and it not being a weird thing to do is important. I'm sure a lot of cigarette butts, they're probably my least favorite thing to pick up. Cans, definitely. I think we'll fill our bags in probably like 2 hours.
What we got here is looking like half a dell, just by the looks of it. Track pads in place.
Okay.
Needs a new monitor.
Right.
But otherwise, I mean, I don't want to know what's on this thing if you threw it out by the river.
We have to do our part no matter where we are. The Poconos is a beautiful area. So keeping that area where it's bringing a lot of economy to that area because of where it is and the mountains and the lakes. So just keeping it clean and having not only us take care of it for people coming in from outside and seeing how gorgeous it is.
Oh God, somebody's skivvies.
what an amazing event. It was great to see how many people came out to pick up the Poconos.
You're right, Brianna. Yeah, over the years, Pick Up the Poconos has led to tons, and I mean tons of trash removed from area back roads, major interstates, all thanks to the hard work of the volunteers, the crews with Pocono 3C, and Adopt a Highway folks, leading to that nearly 20,000 bag count over the years.
And if you were not able to get involved with Pick Up the Poconos, don't worry, there are other opportunities. You can adopt a highway, adopt a road, get together with a group of volunteers, or if you see some litter in the park, just pick it up.
Absolutely. Head to pickupthepoconos.com to find out how you can help year-round and look forward to that pickup event, another volunteer opportunity at the end of September.
Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Pocono Mountains Magazine. We'll see you next month.
Man, Pocono Organics is fantastic. I love it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Pocono Tourism YouTube channel and click the bell button below to be the first to watch new videos. You can also click the link on the screen to watch more episodes of Pocono Mountains Magazine.